Alright, hello guys. And of course, they change everything on YouTube on me. Morning, Nighthawk. Sorry guys, a little late this morning. That's okay. We had a huge up day yesterday in the markets. A little taken aback by it. Gotta be honest with you. Didn't expect a 1,000-point day on the Dow. That kind of numbers is going to get a lot of people interested in the stock market. And there's actually an interesting article. Let's read this together here. An outlandish one-day gain can spell trouble during a bear market. I've not read this before, just saw this right now. Beware the one-day wonder in the stock market. In a bear market, this involves an outlandish daily price gain in a major index. Such gains can be a trap. It's a bull trap. 9 best gains. March 15th, Dow rocketed 15%. 12 sessions dropped 11%. 31 powered 14 higher. Then it spurted 18.5 in 8 sessions, and 41% followed in the next 2 months. January 3rd, 2001, the Nasdaq drove 14%. Index rose 10% in 3 weeks. From there, Nasdaq dropped 44% in less than 3 months. The above 3 cases had favorable outcomes after the one-day price jolt. Others weren't so lucky. Dead cat bounce. These are some bad days to be talking about. 87, 2000, 2008, 32, 2008, 29. Those are some bad market times to be discussing in the same breath as today's market. Crucial takeaway is that only one of the 9 biggest one-day gainers involved a follow-through day. After that, one ultimately offered the best gain. And that one ultimately offered the best gain. So still looking for a follow-through day here in IBD. And I'm not sure if they're calling... See, I don't think they go off of that futures chart that I'm going off of. So yesterday maybe a day 1 instead of a day 0. And if you look at the futures market here, the volume was actually very muted. So this is the NQ, the futures market. Volume was just about average, just under average, above the previous day session. And that's usually to be expected. You're going to have any kind of normal volume after a holiday should make you higher than the previous day's volume. And then you have the Qs, which is the ETF representation of the NASDAQ, which is a completely different story. Greatly elevated volume. You're talking, just for quick and easy math here, 25-30% over average volume. And again, a huge up day, which would be a day 1. And actually takes us right back to the trend line of this bear channel. It looks like this market this morning, we're retracing that last little parabola. I mean, that is a tremendous gain right there. So the question everyone's going to be asking is, do I jump on now or do I not jump on now? Well, IBD just did a little synopsis for you there. They're basically saying the market isn't telling you what to do on this particular day. It's too close to the ultimate low. It's not a follow-through day. And they're saying that out of all those large gains, most of them, in fact, 8 of 9? turned out to be huge losers after. Not exactly after, but after. So another thing, well, look at today. Look at all that. That's the only green. TZA, Roku, INS, INSG. Not a lot of green this morning. You think it'd be rip roaring after yesterday. Not necessarily. So let's look at some of those top names from yesterday. Amazon, it had a huge day yesterday. Tesla had a huge day yesterday. Look at that. Great days. So they're still picking at the market. And you have to, I mean, after such a huge drop, you have to expect a reaction to the upside. That was a pretty big drop when we had the Fed announcement undercut this low right there. That's an 8.3% drop in an index, which is huge. That is not a normal move. You have Apple with very large volume a couple days before. And then yesterday volume was high. Not huge though, but it definitely was high. So, yeah, we actually talked, we talk about buying the big scary days. And the difference here between the futures and the Qs here, the Qs actually gave you a big scary day here, so that could have been a day to maybe add a little bit on. I'm in cash though. I'm in cash, so basically waiting for a follow-through day. But we have been discussing that strategy. Didn't work for us up here very well. In fact, if you bought this second low, you'd still be down about 6%, which isn't horrible. At the lows here, you'd be down about 12%, which really sucks. There's not horrible and really sucks, and this is one that really sucks. You don't want to hold on to a 12% loss in anything. So let's, I actually really like that article. That was pretty cool. I'll go ahead and, where can I post this? I guess I'll post it in chat. You won't be able to click on it if you're watching the recording of the video. Maybe I can put this in the description of the video. My description is completely empty. Link. I'll put this in the description. Look in the description below if you guys are watching this. Link to IBD article on large up days in bear market. Okay, so that's in the description. That should be in the video when this thing is finally over. Should be there now, as a matter of fact. Good morning, Eli. You went all in yesterday, right? Just making sure. Tesla with a huge day yesterday, up about 10%. Big drop to the downside. Huge day for Tesla. Got it in at about 300. Very nice. Good job, Eli. Yeah, we may retest that level, but I think that's a... I don't know, man. I just think almost any buy in Tesla is a good buy. But the market right now still isn't very, very great. INS up 6.57%. Doesn't look like it, though, does it? If you look at this daily chart, cup with handle still there. This cup with handle is still valid. That's the cool part about this one. Look at the volume on this INS stock. Not very elevated whatsoever. Coming back down to the low, bouncing today. Although I don't know if it's going to last a whole lot longer. This bear market's been pretty brutal to many names, and I don't know if INS is going to hold up. Let's look at some losers today. Quad U's down 5%, undercut the channel right there. On the there's the... Don't understand why you always go to 369. There we go. So you undercut the channel there, and coming right back in the Qs. We were way down here. Now we're back up here. Pretty interesting opening 5 minutes section there. Tested down 2%. How's Nettie's been doing? Still chopping around. Big volume day right there. Was that our quad witching Friday? I think that was. AMRN stair-stepping lower again. So we dropped there, let's say a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Moving lower. AMED. Goose down 1.45%. Things jumping around on me. No major bottom there. Bought 270, sold at 354, then jumped in at 370. Oops. Well, yeah, it just depends what your 254 was a really good buy. Or 270. Even 270 was a really good buy. 354 was a really good sell. Then jumped back in at 370. So I think it just depends your time frame for Tesla. I mean, I'm a big believer in Tesla's longer term story, to be honest with you. So if you don't have to take your entire account and swing for the hills trading, as a lot of people tend to do. You don't have to do that. You can take some of your account. You can have a longer term position Tesla if you want that. You don't have to want that, but if you do, oh, okay, yeah, then your buy at 270 was great, and then you basically just lost like $16. So you'd have bought it 284. You can just consider you bought it 284 after that gain, if you want to think of it in that perspective. And from that perspective, you never went negative on that trade. So, but yeah, I think longer term Tesla is going to be fine. Like I said, we got earnings coming up in, what was it, 5 weeks or something like that. And we'll see what happens then. Any more green on my chart? A little bit more green. Nothing tremendous to write home about quite yet, but INS. Roku doing pretty good up here. Roku's been on a pretty long slide here since the high of 77. So that's pretty good. Looks like Twitter's popping up on the top of my red screen. You see it jumping around there, this highlighted one. It did have a pretty good day yesterday when I looked at it. Let's see what it ended up at. So it bounced off that support line. And so far today looking okay. Some big news. This thing, if you don't recall, this thing dropped on the Citron report. See if there's anything else. You know, we can look at on Twitter. We can probably look at some open interest. Oh, I do. Okay, there's the open interest. So we've got where's my scroll? Oh, there it is. Open interest. Okay. So we got open interest on the January 21s. Looks like it's mostly to the call side. We've got 600, 300 open interest here in the not that high. January 20, we do have quite a bit of open interest here on the put side, but we have a tremendous amount out here longer over here. These could be hedges from these positions. You never do quite get to know that. January 21 definitely a bit to the put side here, but you know they could be going long here and selling these puts too. That's something that's a strategy they can take. All kinds of strategies they can take. June of next year, looks like we have quite a bit of open interest to the put side here. Much more in triple digits on the put side than we have on the long side. We've got this one here at 37. Only about 2,700 of those are mine, 2,773. So 73 other people have my same position. So that's June. And then March open interest, you've got almost even. Just looking at it, almost about even in March. February. Whoa, 47,000 at 37. That's pretty for February. That's looks like someone took a bath on that trade or just bought those recently. I'm not quite sure. I don't think we get to see the history on these open interests, but someone took a huge position on Twitter right there. 47,000 calls for February. at 37. So they're expecting it to go to, I think, at least 38 in January, which is next month, which is where a majority of your traders are going to be placing positions. And you see that open interest here. Pretty big to the long side, so unless they're hedging other positions, they're pretty much net long Twitter here. So it appears to be net long on Twitter. These are some levels in Twitter that, we only saw for a little bit there at that prior bottom, and now we're coming back down to it again. Looks like we're bouncing off of it. So Twitter definitely far from healthy from 26 to 36. That's a huge move. That's a 37% move in Twitter, but it's possible to do it again back to the upside there. So if the market doesn't have another route to the downside, if we start going sideways, we'll have to see. But yeah, Twitter not bad. Twitter's actually a little positive on the day here. BLFS, CRISPR, way down there. Tilray. That's not Tilray. Tilray's jumping. Tilray's still rounding back over there. The Most Important Thing by Howard Marks. I've not heard of that book, Justin. See what VMware is doing. They were holding up pretty well. Looks like they rolled over. A little bit of support here at the 200-day moving average. That's not bad. That VMware chart still isn't necessarily that broken. Tilray at 50. Now we still may get there. A lot of people were expecting the $60 level from what I was looking at. So we'll see what happens. It's not extraordinarily bullish. There's a nice high volume candle right there, and even there's a little bit of follow through. We'll see if it wow, that's 11% to that low. I was going to say maybe low risk entry. Not at 11.5%. What about 34, the last peak before the run? That's a huge run. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. If this traditionally would be a bear flag, so if we drop lower here, yeah, I think stopping at 34, that'd be a full retracement of that run, though. Full retracement. Can you expect liquidation or selling of negative assets on December 31st? Yeah, I mean, you'll see some. They're going to do that. They're going to do that throughout this whole week. They don't just do it on the last day. And I guess it depends on the market environment. If we're bullish going into the end of the year, they'll do kind of some last minute selling if they need to. But in this market environment, I'm assuming they're going to be they've already done some liquidating, and you'll still see some additional liquidations. But you will see some tax selling at the end of the year. I can't really remember, well, other than 2015, the last bear market or correction going into the end of the year. So I guess I can remember one, which was 2015. It actually had a follow-through day. I think the day after Christmas is when we got the follow-through day for the market in 2016. All right, so let's, what else can we look at here today? What else can we look at? Well, after a big day like yesterday, so far action's a bit muted today. It was also muted yesterday morning, if you recall. It wasn't really extraordinary. So there's yesterday morning. I think when I left you guys, we were way down here. I think we fully retraced the morning pop. We had a pop in the morning. I think we were fully retracing. And yeah, I think I left you around here. So, and then it actually overtook a trend line here and started rallying and never really stopped throughout the whole day. So we'll see if we have a repeat of this today. There's a possibility of that. Today we're down the negative about 1.4%. So a bit of a different situation. Here I think we started in the green. I don't think we ever hit the red. And then off to the races we went. So we'll see if we get a similar situation today. But right now we're just choppy around the open price. And if you guys are just joining me, look in the link in the description. I posted a link to an IBD article that I was reading earlier about how the biggest one-day gains can spell trouble during a bear market. Essentially talking about a dead cat bounce. And in the end, if you think about what a dead cat bounce is, I'm sure you guys know what it is. I don't think they had too many charts in here. But this was yesterday right there. And a dead cat bounce is essentially, in my opinion, where the first initial short covering people take profits. I think that's personally what a dead cat bounce is. And then so they take their profits. It's a rip-roaring rally because they usually have large positions. And then they cover their positions and there's no one left to buy. And then it peters over and falls over again. And so they're discussing here dead cat bounces. And it's not too encouraging when you're in the company of 1929, 2008, 1932, 2008, 2000, and 1987. That's the company that we're being discussed in these market days. So that's not super encouraging. Don't necessarily like that. But I digress. It's interesting. It's interesting days these days, and research is really the best way to combat these market situations. Not emotions, not guessing. Money management and research is how you combat these. So I was looking yesterday for an older market interactive charts. I didn't really get any. I'm really busy these days, kind of in the afternoon time frame, so I can't spend as much time as I would like to. I got the kids with me, and I just delivering holiday presents that are too big to fit under the Christmas tree to some of my family members. And I really would like to do that research. Maybe I'll have some time today. I gotta go do work for a client today or tomorrow. Anyway, it looks like we're dropping a little bit, 1.7%. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, so don't take a one-day pop like that for granted by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I was looking at it yesterday, not all the way through. I didn't realize we had such a tremendous day. It was like 6%. I mean, it was like a 6% day. That was massive. A massive day for the NASDAQ. Any other index as well. I would have expected the futures market volume to be higher. But the volume on the Qs was tremendous, which shows you a lot of retail investor went long yesterday. That was a much larger green day on the Qs than the NQs. NQs being the futures market, and there's quite a few professional traders trading on the futures market. So they're still sitting on the sidelines, in my opinion. Volume wasn't even average. It was short by about 8%. 6, 7, 8%, something like that. Looks like today we're undercut lows of today. We'll see if we undercut lows of overnight session. This should be an area of support at 61.43. That should be an area of support. Let's see what's green. Not much else is green on our stock list here today, and only a couple any good amount. You got BLFS and INS up 4 and 6% respectively. Other than that, TZA, which is a 3 times short the Russell, is actually up today 4%. Let's actually look at the Russell 2000, which has been leading us lower. I had a measured move on Russell, and there was actually two 2 points. This, if you take the measured move from here to the breakout point, it actually takes us all the way down here to this. If you take it from here, yeah, that looks about right. That's about where we stop. So we could stop here. We could stop all the way down here. And the way the market's behaving, probably will stop a little bit lower. So you can see there's the drop from 2015, 2016. We finally bottomed here, it looks like in February. Topped up here in June. So 7-month correction there. For a total drop of 28%. So far, what have we dropped here? On the Russell. This is the Russell 2000, small cap index. Dropped about 27.3%, about the same as what we did previously. And so, there's two targets. The first target here has already been reached, and the second target would be this longer-term trend line. And that takes us all the way back to the low of 2008. And so that would keep this 2008 rally. And it's interesting when you have consumer numbers. We haven't talked much about that, but consumer spending 2018 is actually highly positive. So you talked, yesterday I ranted about debt for a little bit. October 29th. Let's look for the past week. So consumer spending rises 0.4% in November, outpacing income growth, which sucks, debt spending. So consumers rose 0.4%. However, October spending was revised up 0.8% from the prior estimate of 0.4%. Incomes rose a little bit, 0.2 after 0.5% gain in October. Forecast below a 0.3% increase. Inflationary pressures picked up a bit. They closely followed core rate that excludes food and energy, inched a notch higher to 1.9. The year-over-year was 1.6. So not alarming rates. The Fed wants this at 2. So that we've kind of reached, like if we can maintain this, the Fed will be happy and maintain. Otherwise, it'll stop rate, or it'll probably start raising interest rates, which would not bode well for us, which probably would put us in a much deeper bear market. So reaching for credit cards for purchases, I don't like that. Saving rate slumped to 6% in November. Yeah, I don't like that. But that's just me not liking that. Doesn't mean a whole lot. So anyway, but consumer spending was positive. That's one good sign. Unfortunately, debt spending, more and more debt. All we have is debt. All we have is debt, no matter what. And what are we doing here on the Qs? And of course, you're going to give me some weird-ass chart. 731 bars to the right. Yes, that's what I need. I need 731 bars to the right. All right. Looks like we're coming down and going to test those lows there. And jolly mood in the bear market. Is what it is, man. What are you going to do? Hold on a second. Some crying in the other room. All right, all's good in the hood. I could sit and complain, Eli. Okay. Yeah, it's not really in my nature. I don't like to sit and complain.
Daddy?
Yes, James.
Can we play Zelda, please?
Hold on a moment. All right, guys. All right, so we're sustaining the lows here so far today. That's a little encouraging. It's like we touched those lows, bouncing off of it. That's pretty good. Can't complain about that too much. That's kind of a low risk entry point. We've seen that happen over the past couple of sessions. The overnight lows kind of supports us a little bit, especially in the futures. And what about NQ? This is not the futures. Futures as well, looks like, yeah, we got supported. Didn't quite touch those lows, but definitely came all the way back down. I wonder if the Qs actually... Oh, yeah, never mind. Yeah, never mind the Qs. So green still don't have too much in the green. Our favorite stock, Solo. That's sarcasm right there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to remove Solo from my screen here. It's fun and all, but at the same time, it's tragic. Yes, Eli, I did advise you to go ahead and load on Solo. Solo. Do that Solo. Terrible movie. Oh, I know I never actually saw that. We're going with terrible on that, so I shouldn't even go to Redbox and pay $2 to see it? You bought Solo. Prices got low, 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 low. Wow. Let's put those right next to Redbox, Eli. I think we'll have a winner. Have a winning business there. Oh, Tesla taking it on the chin. If I can click on it. 3.4%. Actually, at the bottom of my list, I thought earlier this one was rallying. This one was green for a minute. I guess it never was quite green, was it? And Q's still continuing to rally right there. May have seen the bottom of the day. We'll have to wait and see. I can see volume compared to yesterday was pretty muted on my 5-minute chart here. Look at how elevated those opening candles were. Today, not so much. A majority of yesterday's volume, though, came in at the close. You can see the large increase in volume right there. So that's pretty much all of yesterday's session. And the last, half hour? Just had a tremendous buying pressure. You can see the pattern here throughout the day just being squeezed up. A rising wedge that breaks to the upside like that. Pretty powerful on an intraday chart. Pretty powerful. Yeah, if we get back to 250 in Tesla, I'm probably going to load up and back up some trucks if we get back to 250 on Tesla. Like if you look at the longer term on Tesla, 250, we've only been down here a number of times. And I think I bought both of those in my wife's account. If we get down there again, I'll be backing up the truck again. Other than that, I may actually, I don't know. My trading account or my trading doesn't necessarily lead me to Tesla right now, nor has it in the past year or so. I bought it at 150. I bought it there and then I bought it here out of this. There was a cup with handle coming out of this larger pattern. I bought that and traded that. But other than that, I really haven't touched Tesla in a long time. It just hasn't really been conducive to my strategy there. Well, Eli, we don't expect great things from you, so it's all good. Yeah, how's that truck at 6K is feeling pretty heavy right now. Actually, you know what? If you would have bought Bitcoin at 6K, it would have been the same financially as if you just bought a brand new truck. You'd have lost about 40% of it driving it off the lot. There you go. No difference. Bitcoin equals truck. Looks like seeing that little that bottoming area continue. Unfortunately, low volume. I don't like low volume rises, but yesterday it was starting to rise on low volume, and that just continued. So you can't always take everything with by the traditional rules. Sometimes things just do what they do. This one rallied on low volume pretty much throughout most of the day. All right, hold on a second, guys. I'll be right back. All right. Sorted the kids out. Finally. Ah! Wait second half of the day and cry Friday. It's gonna be fine patting myself on the back. uh, yeah, we'll see what happens today, guys. After yesterday's rally, you would expect some follow through. We're not really seeing any follow through today so far. I mean, it could happen in the latter part of the day, but we're not seeing much right now. We saw the lower of the overnight session was supported. Volume wasn't tremendous, so I think you just wait for larger signals at this time. I would just be ignoring this 5-minute chart. I've got this up here because we've just been so volatile lately, but normally I never have a 5-minute chart up. This is filled with four separate stocks. We wait, my new mantra of my trading experience. Yeah, waiting is important. Waiting is important. Um, it's kind of like waiting to ask for a raise, That's kind of like that at your job. You can't go in there every week and ask for a raise. You've got to wait way too long to ask for a raise. Ideally, they give you a little bit of money every once in a while, but they don't always do that. So yeah, not much to do today in the markets. It looks like we're just we're chopping around this. We're trying to see if we're going to get continuation out of this. Is what I feel is happening, but everyone woke up and saw red this morning, and so everyone's doing nothing. So, and I can't say I disagree with them. Let's look at Kind of lost my train of thought there. Shoot. I want to look at something. It's going to be cool. And then start thinking about bear markets. I was going through my bookmarks, and there's a lot of bear market bookmarks in there I'm trying to do research on. But oh yeah, I was going to look at ETFs. We're going to look at some of those ETFs like we did the other day. Oh, one thing that I saw an article on gold, and I was like, oh, maybe we should take a look at gold. Oddly enough. So quite a bit of volume in gold here since this kind of low volume sell-off right there. And then you can see the volume on the weekly here. Actually increases substantially since the low. So you see the low right there on the weekly. You end up with quite an elevated volume. And now we're rising on what could be considered lower volume, but it's still not necessarily all that bad. And you know what? Let's go to Trading View. Oh, we're still in the middle of that channel. Go to Trading View. We'll do stocks. This is where my volume aggregation tool is. I really would like to see the volume aggregation on some of these. I did it on the NASDAQ on the Qs. So 2-hour volume aggregation tool on the Qs don't yield a very good result, as a matter of fact, right there. See the VA tool as of right there. Before we even really broke down, the VA tool crossed with the red, the sells overtaking the buys. Here, obviously, the buys are getting a little bit of move. Yeah, I know I'm not thinking about it in terms of China and Russia. See, GLD we don't get. Oh, there we do get volume. And I wanted to see what the volume was like in gold on my volume aggregation tool. Pretty mixed here. We were selling off throughout, and then it looks like the selling's abated. Now it looks like it's come back a little bit. Yeah, now the selling's returned up here. See the buying's dropped off. Let's see on the 15-minute if that changes at all. Quite a few sells up here. Which one is that? Sanct IBD was talking about a gold miner that was doing pretty well. Actually had very good earnings. I can't remember the name of it, though. I don't usually keep the gold stocks around too much. Polyus. It's a sponsored ADR, apparently. I don't know if that's what this is right here or not. $5 to $40 since 2014. That's not bad. You're not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. That's not too bad. Yeah, I can't find that other one. Type in gold and IBD, see what happens. Oh, it gives me gold. That's not quite what I wanted. This is Rheingold Resources ADR. That's been out there. You know it's a bad day when I'm looking at gold stocks. What are you guys doing to me? What are you doing to me? Making me look at gold stocks. I want to say something really dirty, but I'm not going to. I'm going to refrain. Yeah, I started out with GLD. Let's look at SLV, the silver ETF. Silver actually, as of yesterday, looks like overtook that resistance a little bit there. That's actually not bad. I'm not super mad at silver right there. That's actually not super horrible. We had some long-term resistance there in the SLV. $13.11. Go back here, you got 8, and you got kind of a little bit of a bottom there. Market's rolling over here. So SLV definitely lower. It's been up higher. Had the big run here in 2011. Oh, I remember that. So, I mean, what are you going to get here, like 20, 30%? Add a silver. I mean, probably your best bet here is just to sell some $13 puts. Greg Monorino, I do not. Let's see what $13 puts are in SLV. 1 penny. $2. So you're making $1 out of that. You're not really doing too good for January. Don't know if I would quite sell $14 puts on this one. 14 would be nice, but not quite what I'm looking for there. And we just undercut the lows of the day there, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Just undercut those lows. So, all right, guys, 8:15. I got to run, ladies and gentlemen. Got to get ready for the Crypto Power Hour, put the newsletter together. Make sure my kids are still alive in the other room, haven't stabbed themselves with spoons. So, yeah, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, choppy markets ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Just cash is king. That's kind of where we're at. So one day does not make a bull market. Excuse me. So yesterday was great. Unfortunately, I wish I could have traded in some fashion. I was not even near a position to trade yesterday, and yeah. So still waiting, guys. Waiting for the follow-through day. So we've got day 1 today, possible day 2. So day 3 would be Friday. Day 4 would be the day before New Year's. It's traditionally a low volume day, so I probably would anticipate the earliest day for a follow through would be Wednesday, but the way things are going so far, I don't know. We'll have to see on the holidays, around the holidays, how those follow through days work. I'm not quite sure if they're valid if you have holiday volume. I'll have to maybe ask a question about that one. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day. Stay safe. And if you're in the Real Crypto Power Hour, I'll see you in about an hour. Have a good one. Bye-bye.